James, a very combative Pam Bondi, pushing back quite hard on tricky questions from the Democrats. She's accusing them of theatrics, but they're doing all they can to raise the case of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, Jane, I mean, theatrics, who can play at that game? And I think we see that all around that committee room this morning. It's interesting, just the whole layer. You've got Pam Bondi answering the questions. Behind her, actually out of shot, there are something like a dozen survivors of Jeffrey Epstein. And in terms of the theatre, we probably saw that early on. Pramila Jayapal, she asked Pam Bondi if she would turn and acknowledge those survivors, apologise to them for what her Department of Justice is. And, you know, we saw Pam Bondi blow up at that point, not for the first time, certainly not for the last. And she said, I'm not going to get into the gutter because of Democrat theatrics. So that's the kind of tension at play there. Right now she's being asked quite a softball question by a Republican, but every time the Democrats take to the mic, then that's when things get heated. Pramila Jayapal again talking about what she sees as the dissatisfaction in the release of these files, not just the fact that a couple of million remain unpublished. She spoke about a pattern of redacting names of the powerful predators as opposed to the names of victims whose identities have been exposed. This isn't closure, she said. It's a deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors. Let's have a listen to some of that exchange.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only to then say that there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met alone with Ghislaine Maxwell and transferred her to a minimum security prison. And now you continue the cover-up. And I wish that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
apologize.
Now recognizes the you sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, and Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history.
There you go. That's the tenor of it, Jane. I mean, she's been on the job for a year, and this actually is a kind of broad-based look or review at her and her department. Democrats not happy at all. They see the Department of Justice as being weaponized against them, against Donald Trump's enemies, and generally doing his bidding. So it's a job review, and you know, looking at Pam Bondi, clearly it's the ear and eyes of the boss that she has in mind when she answers questions, because no matter what she's been asked, really she's steered her answer onto Democrat failures, as she would see it, and President Trump's successes, talking about immigration at the southern border and so on. So that's the kind of tennis match that we're seeing. Republicans supportive, Democrats critical. Zoe Lofgren in the past 5 minutes, we've seen her talk about how the credibility of the Department of Justice has been diminished in terms, she says, of dealing with the Epstein Files Transparency Act and also other events more widely. For example, you know, in Minnesota, police, law enforcement agents not being given access to the crime scene when American citizens have been shot and so on.